WOD Pod. Join me as I sit down with CrossFitters, fitness experts, top coaches, professional athletes, and other well-known gym goers to listen to their journey through fitness.
So whilst I was up in Sunderland for the North East Fitness Games, I met up with Steven Rayner to discuss his media business, hybrid training, his recent dabble in Hyrox, and some big news for Crossfit Tweedbank. Steven also runs the Revier Games, which WOD Powders are proud to be involved with. It was very interesting to find out about the reality of running a CrossFit competition, and I had a lot of fun recording this episode. I'm sure you'll enjoy the listen.
Not gonna lie, this is the most unprepared I've been for a podcast episode yet.
Like it.
Steven, first of all, Steven's a very formal way of saying your name. What are your nicknames?
Usually go by Rayner, that seems to be the one, or as I got older and started working in the gym, Stevie became the thing.
So Stevie or Rayner?
I hated Rayner. I hated Stevie until it latched on, and then I was like, actually, I'm half all right with this.
Or Lanky Beanpole?
Or Lanky Beanpole. Lanky Beanpole. That one works. That works.
That was just from that time that you did that story in the gym, and then it said... I can't remember what it was. You chanced it for a discount code, and I just made it the discount code.
I did chance it for a discount code. I was like, yeah, use code Lanky Beanpole. He's like, fine, here's a discount code. I was like, class, that works.
Yep. So we're currently on episode 10 of series 2. We're sat in CrossFit Sunderland. I think you were meant to be competing originally.
Yeah, I was going to be competing again. Competed last year. Great comp. And then, couldn't get partner last minute through the qualifier, so didn't get a chance.
Nearly made it. Made it to the gym, just not to the comp.
Yeah.
So I think I first kind of came into contact with you when I knew you as SR2 Media.
Yeah, SR2 Media originally, yeah.
You were shooting at WOD on the Lock.
Yep.
WOD Powders had just sponsored the comp. It was the first comp we sponsored. We didn't have anything. All we had was bought some barrier covers.
It was, I remember.
And just send the barrier covers. Yep. And I was like, will that do? Kyle was like, yeah. And then, you got really good photos.
Yeah.
I think you tagged the brand in a few pics, and I was like, cool.
Yeah.
Found you that way.
I was at that point when I was super eager. I was like, let's just tag. And then, some people were like, whatever. And then you were like, class, I'll repost it. I was like, I like that.
And are you still doing photography, videography now?
So I do bits and pieces. I do a lot of my own stuff, create all my own content, but kind of narrowed it down to just do the stuff I enjoy. So it makes a bit of a difference because I started making it like a real gig and then I ended up hating it. So
how long had you to that point done photography and media?
A good few years. I got injured from CrossFit when I still am average, when I was way below average, and I couldn't do it, so I needed to find something else. Found love in that, started shooting supercars and whatever, then took it into the gym stuff and found out it was fun, and there's not very much money in it, but there's it's good fun, and plus it combines the two things that I enjoy. So.
And obviously you own a gym now, CrossFit gym.
Yep.
Before that point, what had you done leading up to that point?
Very little. I dipped my toe in loads of stuff. I even tried supplements back in the day.
Right.
Tried to white label stuff. Wasn't it for me? And then kind of fell into the CrossFit world and did a lot of that. Still have a 9 to 5, believe it or not.
What's that?
Work for an energy company in finance.
Oh, okay.
Which is a while. People are like,
and
what?
You're now owning your
now on the CrossFit box.
Is that fairly recent?
Yesterday.
Shit. That's a podcast exclusive, surely.
Yeah, it is. The post went up yesterday, just saying that I'd taken it over. It's been a long time coming. I've kind of been head coach there for the last couple of years, and ended up the guy that was there kind of is moving on to other things, and I kind of said, look, this feels right for me. I've built the community. I've kind of settled it on socials quite a lot, and it just felt like the right move for me to get to.
So I guess you were doing a lot of photography, videography for the box, as well as coaching.
Yeah, so like locally, that's what most of my personal content does. It kind of drives people in. My whole message is I don't care where you're from, what you do, young, old, get into moving somewhere. And so that's always been my ethos, and that kind of resonates with the community. And so now that can double up because I've got a funnel for people to go to.
Yep. And I don't want to drop you in it, but what are you going to change immediately to the gym?
We are launching. And I put up a little teaser clip, little flashes today, of our high performance centre. So something to touch on a bit later. But I did Hyrox a few weeks ago, and I realised there's kind of this thing between CrossFit, Hyrox. There's a bleed over. But if my whole message is get everybody in to do some type of fitness, then if Hyrox or Athex is your way in, then I'd like to facilitate that. So we're opening a second section, which is next door, which will facilitate the Hyrox and Athex. We've got Athex head coach and a Hyrox gym owner both running the space. So that's the first big change.
So you're becoming, are you a Hyrox affiliate now?
He is a Hyrox affiliate in his little garage, but that will move to the...
Right, okay. But the gym at the moment isn't a Hyrox gym?
It's split into 4 sections. We've got an MMA section, CrossFit Tweedbank, the high performance centre, and then a GPP gym upstairs.
Cool. And you've taken the whole thing on?
Yeah.
Are you like, is this make or break? Is it like sink or swim or?
Yeah.
Like, is it well calculated or have you taken a risk on it?
There's a risk, guy.
Of course, there's a risk with everything, but
yeah, I think it's well calculated. It's got enough amazing people behind it to make it do its thing, right?
Will you keep the CrossFit affiliate?
Yes.
Okay.
You're gonna
Is that
ask
confident?
me?
No. I've asked a few CrossFit affiliates before, and they've been like, "It's not worth the money.
Yeah.
I don't think you get much."
I'm mixed on that. I think it's expensive, but if you can make it work, it's more than worth it to just be a CrossFit gym.
Yeah.
I think like fair enough. CrossFit might not give you much for it, and I think most affiliate owners will agree for that, but you pay to be part of the CrossFit world and the CrossFit ethos.
It puts you on the map, it puts you on the website.
Exactly, and I think that's
comes
worth it
when people search CrossFit in your area.
And exactly, and Revier Games, my comp CrossFit affiliate, so I clearly buy into CrossFit as a methodology, so I think paying the price for that's worth it for me.
Yeah. So I don't want to kind of crush the Hyroxes here, but I've watched a lot of Hyrox coaches, and a lot of their training where they say, if you want to improve this certain element of Hyrox, do this. And they often refer you to more CrossFit to improve Hyrox.
What's funny is that I did CrossFit and then said I blasted it online. It got like 100,000 views. People were relentless. So then I said, okay, fine, I'll do it. So I went and done it.
So you pissed off the Hyroxes?
I pissed off the Hyroxes, big style, and they're a dedicated community.
And then you bought a Hyrox affiliated gym.
Correct. But yeah, because after I learned, all right, maybe there's more to it, it swallowed my ego and went, right, I'll lean into it. But I did that, and actually what happened was when I did 12 weeks of running, hated running, just went on with the running coach, did Hyrox, and I was quite good at Hyrox, subjectively. I was in an hour and 11 in a pair, fine. So it was good. But then I went back to CrossFit, and it turns out through the Open, I was terrible at CrossFit. So my take-ins from that are that you can do Hyrox by training doing CrossFit, but you can't do CrossFit training.
Doesn't work the other way around.
Nah. So and that just because what I said originally was Hyrox is lower skilled, lower weighted version of a CrossFit workout. That's what I said, and now I even more stand by it. Nothing wrong with it, but that's what it is.
So really, if you want to kind of train to be an all-round athlete, do CrossFit because that will benefit your CrossFit and your Hyrox. Yeah,
and I think there's an argument to say that CrossFit athletes are more hybrid than Hyrox athletes, because I'm no longer hybrid. I can run fast and for long, but I can't do CrossFit.
So CrossFit's obviously grown over the last 10 years. How do you see hybrid athlete? Do you think that's going to keep growing at the rate it is? It's becoming a bit of a trend to be a hybrid athlete.
It is, but it reminds me of the Tough Mudder thing where that kind of ramped off. Everybody went, let's do a Tough Mudder. And I think because it's a race, I think the AthX will quickly replace it. I think once everybody's done their Hyrox a couple of times, they've beat their score, they'll go, right, I need some variety, which constantly varied is the CrossFit ethos. That's all that Hyrox misses. AthX fills that gap, and I think I'm going to do one next month. I'm doing one with the guy that runs the AthX gym. And I'll see how it pans out, but I think they're going to fill the gap right in the middle. But evidently, I think all roads lead to training for life is CrossFit. It's not a race, it's not a comp. It's training for life. And actually, it's all competitive currently.
Being functional for life, I think CrossFit's as close as you get to functional training.
Yeah, agreed.
As an all-round.
Completely. Aye.
We'll move on to the Reiver Games.
Yeah.
What was the initial reason for setting up a comp?
I had photographed at multiple, I'd competed at loads, and I'd seen it done, and it's one of those things where I was like, I know the guys that are running these. I was like, I could probably do one of these, and I noticed that I either had to travel 2 hours down the way, or an hour and a half up, or one in the lock or whatever, even further up to get to it. And I was like, I could do something here. People like this. They like competing. The competitive buzz it gives people. I think RX athletes are this much in the comp space. Intermediate and scaled is where the magic happens, so to speak. And so I was like, I could do something with this. And then just thought, let's just try it and wing it. And that's where it started from.
And that's where it started. How many have you done now?
This will be number 5 or 6. One of the two. Biggest one yet by a while. April 27th.
Okay. Soon. And was it as easy as you thought it'd be doing your first one?
The first one was fine because I had no idea. And I was just like, we'll just make it happen. And it was smaller. I think we had like 35 teams, and it was just kind of like, most of them were local. And then, that one was kind of fine. The second one, I knew the pressure. I had to beat the first one because there was a buzz of it being the first one. Everybody bought in. The second one, I was like, there's more pressure on this one, which made it harder. And actually, since then, you'd think, it gets easier. They've just gotten harder because all you do is...
I think you've got to try and level up from what you did last time, because if you don't, the people that came last time and came again are almost disappointed that they've not seen the comp progression.
Exactly. the biggest one for me was I booked last year's outdoor. So the big one was supposed to be outdoor, and I bit off way more than I could chew. Didn't get enough uptake. This time, arguably, I could have. Didn't get enough uptake. I found out that like there's already basically zero cash. If anybody thinks about organising a comp, don't do it. There's no cash in it if that's what you're driving.
If you're doing it for the money,
if you're doing it for the money, it won't pay off. But outside of that, I tried to do that, didn't work out, and then me having to have all the branding, cancel contracts with council, like all this, that was one of the biggest learnings ever, where I was just like, I have made a mess here. And then going back to that, it's fine now, but that was a learning experience for sure.
What was the biggest thing you learned from the first comp?
For the very first comp?
What was the biggest thing you took away?
That these things don't happen without lots and lots of people there to help you, that are willing to help for their love of the comp. Because like I said, there's no money to be paid out, so you need to find a way to make it worthwhile for them and make them feel special, and which they are. It doesn't run without them. Like I do very little. I just stand there and watch people run the comp for me. So you know what I mean.
I don't think this episode, it'll be very close to being out before April 27th.
Right.
So you can probably say now what sort of things are you doing this year differently to last year?
So I kind of took all the best bits from like some of the guys. Like I take massive inspiration from guys like Kyle Wood in the Locks, Ali and Simon up at Proving Grounds and whoever. And I basically took the bits that they did the best and I just stole them. And they'll be happy with me saying that. So Zach Wild, guy, I was like, I have to have him as a DJ. Had one of my best pals DJ, and I was like, sorry, see you later.
Bit of an awkward one.
Brought in Zach, and then brought in Stella because they work as a class team, and I was like, right. And then I was like, right, well, the natural progression is just let's make it CrossFit affiliated, which was a big punt because obviously it's a lot of money for very little.
What do you actually get?
You get put on the website.
Full stop.
The American website. Yeah, that's
pretty much it.
That's pretty much it.
And
there's quite a few hoops to jump. You have to. They're quite strict with it, you know. They're a business, and so if you'd used, and what's hard is people hashtag CrossFit on stuff, and it wasn't you, but yet you're not allowed to say CrossFit if it wasn't before, even though it is. And I basically begged them. I was like, I want so much for this to be CrossFit. I'm not trying to mug you off. Was in the affiliate, want to pay the affiliate, want to pay, and it was just
hard work to get it.
It was hard to get it. It was.
It's almost off-putting because you think, look, I'm trying to put your name on my comp.
Exactly.
I'm trying to market your brand.
And the funniest thing
about
that was,
pay you.
I'm hosting it in a CrossFit affiliate.
Yeah.
So you know what I mean?
You would
Even
think,
if you didn't want it to be CrossFit.
You would actually think that part of your affiliate fees, you should be able to put on comps without an additional cost. That should be part of it.
I just felt bad because I was like, I'm clearly doing CrossFit here. A variation of Fran in the workout. I'm like, I'm clearly doing CrossFit, but I'm not allowed to say it, and that riled me a bit. Like,
and you kind of like always treading on eggshells, trying not to say anything.
Always, and trying not to toe lines. But I think that the affiliation for the comp came with a lot of backing, so like it meant that people buy into it a lot better. People say, oh, that's actually a CrossFit comp, even though it was before. It makes no difference, it's just a name, but it comes with a lot of prowess on it, doesn't it?
So what workouts have you got them planned yet?
Yes, but they're released on the day.
Okay.
So it's just in
no
case.
point saying then.
But I do have one of them is programmed by JST.
Okay.
So JST do our class programming, and I like the guys that they did. They train some very high level athletes, and I kind of had a brainwave where I was like, this would be quite cool. So I reached out to Jack. I was like, you maybe want to program a workout? And then I was like, so now I'm just kind of finessing some of the workouts so that I know roughly what they want to do, but it doesn't fit with the current workouts I've got.
So you put yours around that one.
So they will be, and I think that's quite a cool collaboration. What I've tried today is, I don't like having like, this is my space. I want like the whole thing to be as collaborative as humanly possible. So bring in as many brands and as many people, you know what I mean? Because it's for everybody else, you know?
Yeah, I think, who was that I spoke to about the comp? Emailed?
Emma.
Emma. And I'm going to have to have a read of what I said. I think I was looking to sponsor one of the workouts.
Yeah.
And then the winners of that workout kind of get products exclusive to winning it. Just so that some teams might win that workout but not make the podium. Yeah. It's quite a nice way of getting them.
Especially because like if it's a lift or whatever, then there's always like the guy, like the big lifter is never going to win the comp, right? That's classic. But he's gonna love it, and he's gonna and it's amazing to see somebody get something for that, because that's what they train for. They train to win that workout, right? Even in the open, that's what they train for.
Yeah, 100%. So this competition year, obviously you didn't do this comp. Have you got any more, as on a personal note, like individuals or teams comps lined up?
So fun story. I didn't like my finish in the open. And so I'm not even sure if currently I would qualify for an RX comp. So I've taken on new coach, Sam Perkins. I've taken him on and just said, look, I want October, November, I want to enter something, whether it's Arnold or Sid or something, and I want to finish mid-table in RX. So that's his goal now, is to get me back. So I've lost so much weight through running, so much weight through Hyrox. That 60 kilo thruster in 0.3 ruined my life. And before, I was the lifter guy, like 155 power clean, like that was my party trick. No longer of a party trick. I was rubbish at gymnastics in the first place.
Yeah, when you lose your party trick, it's like, oh shit.
It's time to go. So that was because I'd even planned. I was like, I like running. Maybe I'll do a marathon because I want to do it at one point in my life. I was like, as soon as I'd done the open, I was like, never running again. I'm going back to CrossFit. So that's now the goal. So yeah, I want to do a few comps this year. But I just want to get back to a decent level first before I jump back in.
The Revier Games, just going back to that. Whereabouts is it hosted?
CrossFit Tweedbank. So that's where it is.
Has it always been in the gym?
Yeah, it's always been a gym comp. It was going to break
tried
out
last year to do the outside.
But I think next year it has to. So I had to turn away over one day 60 teams this time, which was wild. So last time we couldn't fill 60, and this time we had 120 teams entered, which was just mind blowing. So like it has outgrown the space. And there is, I could run it over 2 days, but I like the majesty of it being everybody does everything, and at the end of the day you have podiums. And so I need a bigger space. So I think this time will be the last year it's in a gym. Mixed pairs in a gym, probably, because I like to do a couple of events a year, mixed pairs, and then I think next year with the big same sex we'll go probably outdoor or a large indoor space, I reckon.
What has been your favourite comp you've competed at?
Favourite comp I've competed at? I think the Arnold, to be honest. When there was the weird mismatch between it swapping over from Arnold Fitness Games and Battle for Midground and whatever else, there was like a weird time where we couldn't tell which was which. Or
I'm trying to think what year that was.
Could have been like 3 years ago.
Yeah.
Maybe 2022 or something. But yeah, it was that was my favourite one. That was indie middle ground, I think I was in, or I was right in the middle. And like I remember the first workout had like 21 pull-ups in it, and I wasn't even in RX. And just to be, or it was chest to bar, and just to be everybody in my heat, butterfly chest to bar the pull-ups. I was like, well, it's a completely different standard in here. Either everybody's sandbagging, or there's something going on in Scotland where it's a bit far behind. It's definitely caught up a lot now with Johnny Bishan and all those guys, but at that time there was quite a disparity between the two. Like,
I think the Arnold Fitness Games is probably the highest level individual comp in the UK.
Crazy.
And I do think everyone does qualifiers, so I don't know how many. I think it's like 100 plus.
Aye.
Of which they then take the top 25. So you would like to think that even at intermediate, your top 25 out of 100
was
doing
crazy.
butterfly.
And then I think I've never had the chance to, because Kyle won't let me, but WOD would probably be the most fun one to compete at. I would love to do it.
Why won't he let you?
Because I take photos and that, and I'm the whipping boy for the media stuff. So yeah, which I get, I understand, but I think that would be because it's the most exciting, it's the closest to the games experience, in my opinion, that you can get. And I think that so that I would like to, and I think that probably would be my favourite, but obviously I've not had a chance to go there.
So WOD Powders have a vendor pitch there this year. The qualifiers come out on the 1st of April. I'm going to do them.
I'm filming them, so I'll know what they are.
Oh, nice. After the podcast, you can tell me what they are. Get practicing them. No, I'm going to do the qualifiers. If I qualify, I'm going to try and do vendor pitch and competing in the same weekend. Keeps it busy,
So we had someone did that. So the guy from Borderline, Kenny, they competed. They had a store and competed. I think
I might have to ask him how it went.
He looked stressed, but yeah, I think it went okay. But he managed it, so it's doable.
Yeah, it's doable.
I've seen someone else do it. I've seen the guy from Dead Grip Tip do it as well.
Right,
where was he? I think it was Glacier. Potentially, he had a
I've done Glacier and competed, but that was one day, and it's indoor. Right. When you're doing 2 days, and you've got to go from swimming in a lock to selling pre-workout.
Plus, if it's that weather like it was last year, that was the worst.
That was terrible.
That was the worst experience ever.
I saw you competed whilst wearing a road mic.
Yeah, I did.
10 out of 10 for content.
I did.
Was it hard to compete with a mic attached to you? Like, knowing it's there?
Yes and no. I knew it going into that comp I was in really bad nick, and I knew the guys I was competing with were in really good nick, so I knew that I was going to get carried for the whole weekend anyway.
Fine.
And I was like, well, I want content for this, it's alright. I kind of knew it was there. There was one workout that didn't have any content in it because it was the assault bike, toaster bar, something else, and it was just, and I couldn't talk. So there was 10 minutes of me going and so there was no good content there. That was it. But
that was the content. The fact you couldn't talk
was just me breathing.
But
actually one of the clips done really well, where it was me talking to the guy with the sandbag thing where I was just holding it, talking to him, and I told him that I farted, and that went really
just
well.
Having a general conversation mid-workout?
Yeah.
Just as casual?
I just had to hold the sandbag was like 70 kilos, and at the time I weighed like 105, so I was like, this is fine, I can hold this all day. And then when you swapped, you had to go on the rower, I was like, I will hold this all
the whole
day.
Time. Yeah. Outweighs rowing.
Correct.
How are you going to juggle media and owning a gym? Like, how will you split your time?
I've talked about this a couple of times actually, so I'm very particular with that. So, you ever seen Jason Khalipa's book, the AMRAP Mentality book, where he talks about it? So,
I haven't known.
So he talks about it like you split your entire life like an AMRAP, and so say if you have 20 minutes, and I do this all the time, and this is the only way people say, how do you do so many things in a day? This is how I work. So say 20 minutes you have, even if it's time with my son or, you know, a class or whatever, I do nothing else. So like I won't have my phone, I'll do nothing like that, and you segment the time and you treat that like an AMRAP. You know, building rapport with the missus, build rapport with the kid, a task, a spreadsheet, a job, and then treating it like that in my brain works really easily.
So you go 100% all in on that task, no distractions. When that's finished, on to the next.
Exactly.
Rather than like juggling 10% things all at the same time.
Yeah, it just doesn't work for me. I've got too many things on at once to do it that way. And that was like because that was just one of the best things when I read it. I was like, I can relate to that because it's an AMRAP and I get it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I like that. So that was a real subtle way of me saying, are you going to have time to do Clash of Clans? Clash of the Clans in Perth is the weekend after WOD on the Lock.
Yes. Depending. No, I definitely will. I've got a great team of staff there. And my idea is it's not really been a place where the coaches and the guys there have had a chance to really flourish and run the place. And I see me taking more of a step back from that and really like developing. I'm speaking to those guys from Best Hour of the Day. I've seen them, so they do. I spoke to them about really taking the coaches on a development program and really getting them to be the core focus of the gym. Because just now, the Tweedbank page is just my face all over it, and I don't want that to be the place because it's not about me; it's about the community and the coaches. And so,
of course, that kind of leads me on to your controversial posts. Kind of like, I suppose with social media, to get a reaction, to get views, you have to normally state something that's going to trigger a response, trigger a comment.
Yeah.
So a few of your videos have been out there in terms of puts people on the fence, controversial. What would you say have been some of your most controversial posts? Obviously the Hyrox was one.
The Hyrox one was a big one. Whenever you say anything about any particular niche, so I say anything about, I had one about keto that went pretty mad. I've had one about general calorie counting, saying having a six-pack isn't worth it, from someone who's had one. That one done really well. I say it's funny because when they go like, you know, when the hate rolls in and stuff, that's when they generally tend to get more traction.
That's normally when you've kind of made a viral video when people are hating on it.
Yeah, but for me, what I try to do is make it, you know, there's only one of those ones that are kind of a polarising opinion every so often, so that at least if they make their way through, then they'll see all the rest of the stuff that is quite useful, that brings like actual knowledge and actual. But you do have to be a bit, especially consuming my longer form content, you get more from it. But from the little clips, sometimes it can just be what's going to catch the eyes of people and what's going to.
And actually, sometimes the controversial ones are still informative. Like, they are still useful. Well, as much as people hate on them, they still learn something from it.
For sure. Actually, one of the ones that got 100k plus was one of the ones on that Eddie Abu guy. And I've said it before, his message is cool, but somebody who screams at cereal in Tesco has an issue, and I think like it's the wrong way to go about things. I've done this on another podcast. I talked about it as well. It's just mental. You can't take somebody from 10 takeaways a night and whatever else to eating 4 eggs, 3 avocados, and you know, and it's just
not realistic at all. So Eddie, shut up.
Stop it.
No one wants to eat 10 eggs for breakfast. Like,
nope, absolutely not. But yeah, I've talked to, but that stuff does well because his community are mental. So.
What are your thoughts then on like the diet culture on social media?
I think it's to the point where it's so confusing for 2 reasons. One, it's clickbait, all of it. Even we just talked about some of mine is.
Yep.
And it's also extremism because that's what sells, and it's so confusing. So people I've talked to, they're like, I've seen all these things, so I don't know what I'm going to do, so I'll do none of them. And I think that's the most poisonous place to be there just now. And I think like it's not difficult. I said the thing where if you've got 2 plates of food, if I had a McDonald's on one and I had lean meat, vegetables on the other, you would know inherently which one you should be having more of. And at the end of the day, that's the more important bit. People know. You don't need to tell them that they need to have a specific high carb, low carb, high fat. Like it doesn't matter. Eat less rubbish food, eat slightly more better food, eat less of it and move more. But that message doesn't sell programs, which
I was just about to say,
you know what I mean?
People who say that, the people listening to these videos don't want to hear that, because that's the reality. They want to hear that there's some gimmicky...
A 5-minute ab hack.
Yeah, something can fix them, which still enables them to still go and have the McDonald's, not have the lean meat.
Exactly. So that's... And I think it's dangerous to a lot of people, and I think it does more harm than good currently as a whole.
I saw your Insta reel about your influencer. The Insta reel about influencers and their morning routine. I think you posted it a few days ago. I really enjoyed it. I don't know whether most people missed the fact that you still had trainers on when you got out of bed, but
so people that commented on it did. But so what, I've had a kind of a brainwave, and I think that, as we talked about just now, I think people are getting sick of, you should do this instead of doing this, blah blah. So actually, my whole content thing, I think I actually want to move it a little bit more to having a bit more fun with stuff, you know, like, just because I think there's so much noise in it, and it's so, like, when I see somebody, it's so easy to make short form content now. You've got like things that make you captions, things that do all this. It's so easy. So now we've lost sight of like real personality and a bit of fun and a bit of humour. So I think that's why that was the kind of start of that, where I want to do a bit more fun stuff, right?
And I think less people are doing that. I think it's becoming either a business or they're trying to educate too much. And ultimately, if you have all the accounts educating, people just think Instagram has gone from being a really fun app where I actually laugh to just, I'm scrolling and it's almost like reading the newspaper. Exactly. It's boring. Or
then you get, you get somebody like Sam Forth, and then you look at his stuff and it's like a breath of fresh air. It's hilarious, it's funny, it's on topic to your algorithm, and you're like, I love that. And you're like, right, that's the type of stuff that I think people need more of. Because it's, again, like we said, it's no hard, that actual bit. Take it to the side, eat slightly better, move a bit more, and enjoy this fun stuff. So, that was the bulk of that.
Look forward to seeing more of them then.
Well, we'll see. See my creative juices go.
Sounds like you got enough on, but looks. So I've got some random questions that I wrote. So I was actually on the way here. I just got Jamie I got his phone out, and I was just like, I wrote some really random questions down. What is the weirdest smell you've ever smelt?
I've got a good story on this. So we had, in my mum's house, before she moved out, there was a freezer, and it was in a garage that we hadn't been in, and it hadn't been opened for about 14 years. But at the time it was shut off, it was full to the brim of food. And so, like, boxes of whatever, chicken nuggets from 15 years ago and stuff. And it had just been shut. We took it out, it was obviously very heavy, took it into the garden. And when we opened it, there was a green sludge. The whole thing was a green sludge. And it, like, I don't know, it was almost like a mushroom cloud of smell. And it was, everybody instantly vomited. It was me and a group of my pals when we were really young. And it was like instant vomit everywhere. It was so very
scarred
clearly,
you for life.
It scarred me. So when you asked me that question, I'm like, I remember it so vividly. I'm like, I know the smell
straight away.
It's, most people be like, I don't know. I'm like, I know what it is. It's that.
Okay, think of someone who dislikes you because of something you did.
Yeah.
Don't say who the person is, but say what you did to them.
The thing is, if I answer that, if anybody who watches this who knows me knows them. The person. Okay, I bought a CrossFit gym.
Okay.
you need no context, but everybody's going to be laughing faces on the comments of this.
Okay, well that's a reel. Clip that. Yeah. Okay, if you could remove one emotion from the world forever, what would you remove?
What would I remove? Not so much an emotion. Well, I guess it is tied to an emotion, but probably egos, I would say. So more of jealousy, I guess, but egos. If I could remove them from everywhere, that's what I would remove. I think it would make the world a much, much better place for everybody. If people could just focus on their own bit and just leave everybody else alone.
100%. Got some rapid fire questions, so quick answers.
Quick answers, right.
Favourite exercise in CrossFit?
Bar muscle ups. Why did I say that?
Favourite meal prep company? Or company.
Why did I want to say Pro Prep Meals? That's Eddie Abby's.
No, we can't say Eddie's. Okay, that question's getting deleted. Favorite brand of CrossFit bag?
Built for athletes.
Boom. Favorite restaurant in Scotland?
Oh. Eden. It's in Melrose, near where I live. That was.
What's your favorite song for a 1 rep max lift?
Down with the Sickness.
And your proudest moment as a coach?
My client Maggie completing the Open.
This year?
This year.
Shout out Maggie.
Go on, Maggie.
And yeah, is there we've got the date for the Revier Games.
Yep.
I think this will probably be coming out at a very similar time. Judges, volunteers, I'm going to make sure that we send them WOD fuel sachets. Nice. I'm going to put a thing on the website where all the volunteers and judges can actually, I'm going to put like a shaker and sachet bundle together. Yeah. They can get that for free. I'll just give them the discount code so that they can kind of sign up.
Nice.
Send it out. Just so they've got something. It'd be quite nice to have the judges and volunteers with shakers for the comp day, with WOD fuel. Keep them going, keep them energized.
Keep them energized, like it.
And yeah, so social media, where can we find you, the gym, and the comp?
Most of my stuff can be on CrossFit Tweedbank, you'll see it, and the Reiver Games on Instagram. I'm Instagram heavy on everything, that's just where I live my whole entire life. So Steven Rayner _ the Reiver Games and CrossFit Tweedbank.
Cool, we'll get all those linked in the description. And just going to finish with Carter. I'm going to mention the sponsors of the podcast actually. So I've got NoRep Clothing, I've got Built for Athletes, WOD Powders, and Carter have sent some of the Carter bottles for all our guests. So that is your bottle. Do you want to
oh, lovely.
Open it?
We'll open
Have
it
a look.
now. Come on.
It's pretty heavy.
It's the one my barbell goes on, isn't it?
Yeah.
Almost got on it. What?
We've got one now. There you go. So it's the world's first barbell jack water bottle, and it's branded. We got with it engraved with the WOD Powders logo as well. So it's cool. It holds 250 kilos on one side.
I'll not need that for another 10 months.
Nice. But yeah, cool. Gonna wrap the podcast up there. Anything else you want to say, or all good?
No, all good.
Spot on. Thanks for joining me.
Nice one. Thank you very much.
I hope you enjoyed that episode, and a huge thank you for listening. Make sure you're following the pod on Instagram at the.wod.pod. The podcast is sponsored by WOD Powders. That's at WOD Powders on Instagram. Please show some support to the pod by either sharing this episode with a mate or buying some supplements from wodpowders.co.uk. See you guys next week.